Breeze Rainer here, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time stopping by. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that way you can always be updated on when exactly I post and you're never late on anything. So this video is my 2-year, I guess, anniversary of moving to Vegas. So by the time you guys see this video, it will officially be the 2-year mark. It will be November 21st, which is exactly when it is I moved into my apartment. So as of recently, I did put up a question, I guess, on Instagram, so that way you guys can ask or give me suggestions for topics for this video specifically, because of course I can go on and on, but I really want to know what you guys wanted to know. So I will be discussing those. I'll kind of just go in order. Of course, I got a few questions that were all the same, but there were some good ones and some interesting ones, so stay tuned. So one of the first ones I got was asking about the diversity here in Vegas. And to be honest, it's very diverse. I mean, if you really visit here and you get away from the strip, then you will realize, and once you get to talking to people, you will realize everyone is from everywhere. It's common to meet someone who's from Vegas, but at the same time, there's majority of the people you meet will not be from Vegas at all, not even from, I guess, Vegas, the city. You might even meet some people from Nevada, but not necessarily Vegas. A lot of people still move here from Reno and Pahrump and stuff like that. Those are other cities outside of Vegas. So it's a lot of people that still move from other places to the bigger city. Yeah, when I moved here and when I started working at the salon, that's when I really started getting around more and more people and meeting people. The main questions everyone was asking was, where are you from? What made you move to Vegas? That was all the 2 questions. It was like back to back. I'm like, do these people have this planned? Like, do they just know to ask, or what is going on? But when you think about it, it's just Vegas is just one of those cities that a lot of people kind of migrate to for all different types of reasons. For example, mine being like opportunity. Some people move for jobs. You hear that a lot. Some people move just to get away from the cold, so they want to be with the weather. Some people want to move from California to Vegas because of the price difference. So it's like you just have so many different people, different types of people here in Vegas. So it's just like you're just gonna meet all types of people from all over the place. And I actually do love that, but at the same time, that kind of doesn't give Vegas its own culture. So you know how you go somewhere, you go to different cities, you know what to expect. Even if you've never been there before, you just know what to expect because you just know or have heard of how the people are. So, you know, Southern people, you get that nice Southern hospitality. You know they're gonna be super nice and welcoming and wanting to, you know, act like your family. Or, you know, where you go to New York and you know what I'm saying, they're a little aggressive. Or you might go to, you know, California, where I heard they try to act a little more bougie and, you know, a little bit more Hollywood. So I've heard that as well. It's just like you really don't know what to expect when you meet somebody here. So granted, I have met a lot of nice people. I haven't met anyone rude or anything like that. I have heard some stories of some really, you know, racist people. I have never experienced that. I have met nothing but genuine people. Of course, I have met people who I don't necessarily, I guess, vibe with, but not that they're rude or anything like that. But like I say, as far as diversity, you're just gonna always run into someone from somewhere else, like I said, which I love, because then you get a chance to learn about other places. And if you get close to them, you know how it is just meeting somebody that's from a different place. You may go with them one day, you know, so it's really interesting to be able to meet so many different people from all over the world. So the second question I got was, is Vegas a city that I would raise a family in? And so I would have to say yes. I haven't had any issues with Vegas. Of course, I don't have a child, so I don't know exactly how the school systems are 100%, but I have talked to a lot of parents and they did tell me about certain areas and certain schools, and that's just in any city. Some are going to be better than the other ones, so I just kind of kept that in mind, which is great because I know exactly where they are, and that's where I would want to be in the future, especially raising a family in those certain areas. So yeah, I would raise a family here. I don't feel unsafe here. I don't, feel like I have to like watch my back. Of course, obviously you're in a new city or just anywhere, you're gonna be paying attention, very cautious on exactly where you're going. And so I don't feel like I would feel unsafe, if I had just had maybe a child with me, or, walking around at the store, or, something like that. It's just, some cities got some weirdos, like, Vegas got some weirdos, but not in the areas that I know there's not weirdos. So, you know what I'm saying? So just to kind of wrap that up, yeah, I would definitely raise a family here in Vegas. Another question was, or topic I guess, was the hardest part of the transition. So I'm guessing they're just saying transition from East Coast to West, or Cleveland to Vegas. They didn't really specify, but I guess the hardest part is really the unknown. But I guess hard wouldn't be the real word that I would use. It was really just one of those situations where, and I believe I said it in one of my older videos when I was moving here, but I really moved here by some faith, you guys. So I didn't necessarily have a job lined up here before I moved. Like I said, some people do move for jobs. I didn't have a job lined up. And this was November 2020. So this was still during pandemic. At the time when I moved here, they did have a hiring freeze, which sucked because it's like, okay, you want to get going right away, but then it's like you can't because literally nobody's hiring. So like I say, it was really just the unknown. Of course, you prepare yourself financially to make sure that you are covered for some months, to make sure, like, just in case that doesn't happen, you're not moving here and stressing a month later. Like, you don't want to do that to yourself. If you are moving somewhere, don't do that to yourself. Making sure that you just have all the means necessary. But like I say, I really think that's pretty much it. It's like, not just the unknown, not knowing, how soon I would, meet friends, or just how soon I would get a job, or how soon, I would just get, used to the city and learning the streets and all different types of stuff, because everything is new. Everything is new. I mean, I did come here right before I moved here, about a month before. So, and I did kind of spend time in the area that I, like, around my apartment and stuff, which was great. So, like, even though I stayed on the strip, I still, went to that area, and like I ate breakfast over there. And so it was just, I really wanted to get familiar with that area and just remember names and the cross streets, and, finding the nearest Walmart, finding the nearest, everything. So my bank and stuff like that. So it was just like, I really wanted to just make sure I was completely comfortable. That's why I did spend that week before, well, not week before, but that week prior to moving here. That way I wasn't just rolling up in my Jeep like, hey y'all, I'm here, this is a new city, what's popping. Like, I didn't want to just move here like that. I'm so glad that I did spend that time here before that, because it just made it so much comfortable. I was able to look at my apartment before, so I actually walked into my apartment and viewed it, everything. So everything was cool. So kind of getting here was really simple and really easy. It was a really good transition. I didn't have any culture shock, and Vegas doesn't have too much of its own culture. So it's kind of like it is what you make it. I don't really look at my transition as hard. Like I said, can be nerve-wracking sometimes, yes, because you're just like, oh my God, I really just did this. I really just moved 1,800 miles away from home by myself. Like, am I crazy? So I'm just like, there was no way I could do that in Cleveland. I just refused to. So that's why I had to get myself away from that. So that was pretty much how that transition came about. So I'm laughing because I didn't expect this question, but someone asked, what are the men like? So when I first moved here, at first, like I said, I really wanted to get myself settled in. I wasn't looking for none of that. But then I ended up getting on a dating site simply looking for friends, because I didn't know how else to meet people. This was before I found out about Bumble BFF. So you can just meet people as friends. It can be guys and girls, and they know it's just friends, versus looking for friends on a dating site kind of thing, because it's a dating site. Like I said, so that kind of had me talking to the men here, right? Without actually like seeing them or anything. And I was like, okay, all right, this is interesting. This is interesting. But I'm like, this can't be real. I'm just like, don't tell me I moved all the way from Cleveland with all these good looking men to Vegas. Like, these my options? Are these my options? Like, let me tell you something. If you decide to move to Cleveland, Cleveland has some very good looking people. And I'm not just talking about the men. Cleveland has some beautiful people. I can honestly say that's what I loved about Cleveland. Like, we just some good looking people. Like, I don't know what else to say. But I was just like, this cannot be it. I'm like, these are the only options I have. Like, how many times my finger is gonna fall off from scrolling to the right so much, because if these are the options, I do not want them. So, like I said, so I was just like, you know what, if this is it, if this is how I'm gonna meet people, then it is what it is. This is before I had friends. This is before I had anybody to hang out with. So, of course, I wasn't too comfortable with going, like, to, like, out in, like, bars and stuff by myself just yet. Like, don't get me wrong, I did that back at home sometimes, but it was still, like, I was still so comfortable there. But here, I'm like, I just don't know what areas, and I don't know how it is. Is it weird going out by yourself here? Because coming from a smaller city to a bigger city, it's just like, you just don't know how people are, how places are. And so I didn't really go out by myself at all. So that's why in the beginning, like when I first moved here, y'all saw I never went out. I was only filming at home. I was only filming like in my car or at the park or something like that. You know, it was never me like out and about on the scene. Like, it really wasn't anything like that. So like I said, just trying to meet people, I kind of just went to the dating site, talking to those guys, and it was just like that. This cannot be it. They were just weird. They were just trying to like rush into stuff really fast, like really, really fast. And I was like, oh Lord, like, let me just fall back. I'm looking like, let me just fall back, because these people are trying to like, you know what I'm saying? And that's not what I was trying to do. And like I said, I was on there actually just to get like meet people and get friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on here looking for a man. I'm looking on here just to get like some friends. So like I said, I left that alone, and then eventually I started working, got some jobs, and then I really started when I started at the salon. And of course, I'm, you know, able to talk to a whole bunch of women every single day. And they were just, you know, of course they was nosy, getting all in my business. You know, are you dating anybody? Are you this? Are you that? So I was just like, no, like I haven't had any luck just yet. And so then they would be telling me about their experience, because of course they were here just a little bit longer than me. And they were just like, basically telling me good luck, sis, because it's hard. They were just saying how it's just so many men here that are like weird, and they just like, they don't, like, I just felt like they wanted to be like, they basically were kind of saying how the men were kind of guarded because so many women out here in Vegas were looking to be like sugar babies. So, and they were looking for sugar daddies. So it was like, they immediately was just like trying to be like, no, I'm not buying you this, I'm not doing that, and all that type of stuff. And I kind of noticed that on the dating site, they were kind of like putting their foot down like right away. And I'm just like, bro, like what? But I was never like that. So I was just like, okay, on to the next, you know what I'm saying? So like I say, even though I wasn't looking for that, and clearly they didn't want that in a woman, I'm still like, I don't want to talk to you, because why did you have to say that right away? Like, who hurt you? So like I said, so they were just kind of telling me about that and just like how difficult it was. So I'm like, let me find out. I moved all the way out here, and my husband is not in Vegas. Like, let me find out. I would be so mad. I'm gonna be so mad. But then I was like, you know what? It's cool. That's not what I'm here for right now anyway. I'm here to accomplish these goals and get to the next level in my life. I'm not here to get distracted. I'm not here to entertain nobody, especially because people get on my nerves real fast. So I was just like, I don't need to be putting myself in that situation anyway. So I kind of just stopped looking altogether. Like, to be honest with you, I just kind of stopped looking. Like I said, I got off the dating site, just talking to the different women, and you know, some women, they told me that they met their husbands and stuff online. I was like, wow, you one of the lucky ones, because from what I've been hearing and experiencing, that don't happen. So it was just like, I just had so many different people telling me different stuff about just the guys here. And so it's kind of like, it's hard. I guess I would say it's difficult to meet the more genuine ones, because they're just like the genuine females. They don't go out because everybody knows Vegas is like Vegas, you know? So everybody looks at it that way. Locals don't really go on the strip. So it's like, you kind of maybe go to like a bar that's kind of like in your area or something like that, but that's about it, because that's about it. I don't know, but the men are very interesting. Some nice people. I have met a lot of nice guys, whether they were like trying to date me or not, or you know, I wasn't really interested in them, but it was just like there's some nice people here, but there's also some ones that you're like, all right, have a nice day, see you later, catch you later, and you have zero intention of ever calling them back. So it is what it is. That happens everywhere. I don't want to make it seem like it's just Vegas. That happens everywhere. But from what I have experienced being here, men are a little bit more interesting, because I don't want anybody watching this that's from Vegas and think I'm being mean. They're just a little bit more interesting. That's all. You just gotta dig a little bit if you're really trying to get serious. But if you're not serious and you're just looking to just do whatever, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay, so I actually have 2 more questions. I'm gonna probably try to tie these 2 in together because they're kind of still speaking about people. The one question was about the men specifically, but then the next 2 was the difference between East Coast and West Coast people, and then this one was, how are the people in Vegas? So I guess I'll kind of stick to just the people in Vegas, not just the men. So like I said, I have not had any issues with anyone that made me feel like super uncomfortable or anything like that. I have met a lot of nice people, even just people out like in the stores. They'll like wave to you or they'll smile at you or something like that. It was just like really like, I'm like, who are these people? Like, I'm not used to this. I'm so used to, I was used to, I don't want to say, because I have now adapted to my Nevada folks. It was just like, you was just kind of like, at the time I was just used to kind of walking past somebody, you know, you make eye contact and you just kind of like look away because you mind your business, I mind mine. But here, like immediately, like my first couple weeks, like this is when I was still kind of like, not furniture shopping, but just like decor shopping and stuff like that. And I was just out at the stores all the time. And this was also around Christmas time. So that, I guess that could have played into it too, because I moved right before Thanksgiving. So it was still holiday time and stuff, and so people were just like really nice and, you know, talking to me, and like they were just like really sweet. Like I really felt at home as soon as I got here. Like I said, that's why I didn't feel any culture shock. I didn't feel, you know, scared or nothing like that. I just felt super comfortable as soon as I moved here and started getting around some people. And even I noticed that when I told you I came here the month before and I stayed for about a week, I did notice that too, because I was still shopping and stuff. I was at IKEA by myself, and so it was just like I was trying to see what these people were about, you know? And so I was just like, okay, these people are like really nice and stuff. So I would have to say the people here in Vegas, I have zero complaints. My personal experience, that's all I can speak from. I have zero complaints. No one is, you know, everybody has been pretty great. I don't have any issues. Knock on wood, I don't have any issues. But I guess kind of tying everything in together as far as the difference between East Coast and West Coast people. Like I said, East Coast is more serious. East Coast is more, I'm minding my business, you mind yours. You know, there are some really nice people, of course, but it's still kind of like everybody's just in their own lane on the East Coast. Nobody's really, people don't really seem to like want to help you with stuff or help you progress or, you know, support or certain things. And this is not me talking to anybody specifically. This is really me speaking, because I moved here when I was 26. This is me speaking from 26 years of experience between my own personal experience and just how other people have, like, the East Coast and treated them. It's just like, I feel like the East Coast was really a popularity contest. And I guess I can say more of just Cleveland. Cleveland is a popularity contest. You know, you and somebody else can be doing the exact same thing, but it's just like, or let's say you have more talent and this person don't really have talent, but they just doing it just because, you know what I'm saying, because they know they gonna get the support because they popular. And it's just like, to me, that's not really fair, because it's just like, this person can have something that's like totally better, but just because this person is known by like half the city, it's just like they just gonna automatically, you know, do that kind of thing. Like, I hope that makes sense. And that's one thing I could never stand about Cleveland, was just because, like, I'm just looking like, this is why I need to go somewhere where I know people gonna appreciate my talent and could care less about anything personal that I have going on. They can care less about how many people I know. They gonna be like, wow, she's a nice person. She has this going on for herself. I want to support her. I'm gonna support her in whatever it is that she has going on, not because she got 50,000 followers and I'm trying to be her friend just because she's known. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty much how it is. I just felt like in Cleveland, like, I know the question wasn't Cleveland versus Vegas, it was East Coast versus West, but at the same time, I haven't been to any other states for real besides Ohio and Nevada. So that's the only thing I can speak on. So I hope the person who asked this question is okay with me kind of answering it that way, and I'm hoping that's kind of what you kind of meant. But like I said, then when I moved here, it was more of, like I said, just full support. Once I got to the salon, and I'm gonna speak about the salon a lot because that's when I really was able to meet people and talk to people, a lot of different people throughout every single day. So, I mean, because I had like 6-7 clients a day type of thing. So I was talking to a lot of people. So like I said, whenever I had brought up like my cosmetic line, whenever I brought up the fact that, you know, I was a hairstylist, I mean, they knew I was a hairstylist, but when they knew that I braided hair at home, it was just like, it was just so much support. And this was right before I had launched it, and but I kept some on me. I always kept my lip glosses on me. It was just like, oh, they were like, oh, let me see. They were just so interested, and whatever it is that I had going on, they were just so interested and wanted to hear. And it was a few times where it was just like, people were just offering stuff because they were like, oh, I know somebody that does XYZ. I'll give you their information. Even for YouTube, I was talking to a young lady and she was telling me how she was into digital, but she also knew someone else that kind of did it a little bit more. And at the time, that's when I was saying that I wanted a new intro. Still got the old intro, which is fine. But I was just like, I wanted to get a new intro. So she was like, okay, give me your Instagram. We're going to get y'all in contact, whoop-de-whoop. So I'm just looking like, see, so many people offer stuff here. Like, I don't have to ask, like, hey, do you know anybody that does such and such? And I can, because that's a good way of networking. But I almost kind of got comfortable with people kind of just being like, oh, you have this going on. Do you need help with such and such? Or I know somebody that can do this, or, you know, or just asking like, okay, well, how are you going to accomplish that? You know, and I can tell they were just really like starting to like figure out ways to like help me. And that's why I say it was just such a big difference between East and West, or Ohio and Nevada, to where it was just like, I just felt so comfortable here. I felt like I met my people, because I'm the same way. Like, I want to help people, even if you doing something I'm not interested in. I promise you, if I ever run into somebody that's doing that, I'm not gonna forget about it, and I'm gonna try my best to connect the two people and see if they can do something. I don't need to do anything with it at all. You don't even really have to update me on anything, but the fact that I know I can help somebody, that's when I said I felt so comfortable and welcome, because I just felt like I met my people here. And it was just like a really eye-opener, because I was like, wow, I knew I needed to get away from Cleveland for a reason, this was part of the reason. This was part of the reason. I'm so glad I made that move. I'm so glad that I decided Vegas because I originally wanted to do California. I'm so glad I decided to do here because I wouldn't probably be having this experience in California. So I'm just so glad that God in my heart led me to Vegas versus anywhere else. So I really have to say that's the biggest difference that I have noticed between the East and West Coast. It's just like the people, how they treat you, how they look at you, are they willing to help you, offering their hand out, really genuinely wanting to see you succeed. That's pretty much it. All right, so another question was, how did you start meeting people out there? Like I say, I'm answering all the questions because I don't want anybody to say you didn't answer my question. So even if they are kind of speaking about just people, I feel like that's kind of like what people were just kind of asking, like, oh, how are the people out there? Because they don't know. So how I just started meeting people was, for one, being a hairstylist, you just meet tons of folks. When I got here, of course, I started promoting my braiding and my business page. I started talking to people and DMing people a little bit more, or people reaching out to me for hair. And that's actually how I met my friend EJ. She was actually a client first, and then she became my friend. So it kind of went from there. And then I also have another friend that she was a client at the salon, and then that's when her and I got close. You know, you just kind of meet people through them, and then it kind of just goes from there. Or, you know, old co-workers. That's pretty much it. I would say that's the easiest way that was an easy way for me to meet people, because if I hadn't if I hadn't worked at a salon, I wouldn't have known as many people as I do, because I just haven't really worked at jobs where I was able to talk to people so much. Like, I've worked at a call center here, but it was just like nobody really talked to each other in like the break rooms really, unless y'all were already kind of friends or y'all worked in like the same area together. But for the most part, I really was to myself, but the salon really was a good chance for me to speak to people, talk to a lot of different people, and get to know people. And like I said, just me braiding hair on my own, that was how I met a really good friend of mine. Because I want to stick to this question specifically, because if y'all let me, I would just talk on and be all over the place. So I'm really trying my best to stick to these questions and really answer specifically on what it is y'all ask. I think everybody has a friend from work. I think everybody has a friend from some job that you are still friends with, no matter how long ago it was that you stopped working at that place. Or you still working there, I don't know. Work friends are like forever friends, for sure. If y'all contact outside of work and y'all actually hang out and y'all text, y'all send memes, y'all send TikToks, y'all send reels, y'all send everything else. Like, if you get to that level, then that's when it's like, okay. Or they ain't your close friends or something like that. Like, then it's like, that's your friend. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that that's a way that I really got to know people here in Vegas. Okay, so another one was, what is your favorite thing about Vegas? My favorite thing about Vegas is being able to do whatever it is you want to do 24/7. I mean, you can get your car washed at 4 in the morning if you want to. You could go grocery shopping. And I'm not talking about like Walmart, because Walmart used to be 24 hours like some while ago. You can go grocery shopping 24 hours. Like, it was times where I got off from showgirling at 12, probably left around 12:30 once you get changed. I'm like, I'm working from home the next day. I'm like, I know I'm not about to go out nowhere. I need breakfast. Here I am at the grocery store at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then you would think, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. People sleep, they gotta work the next day. No, y'all, it was a long line at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, this is Vegas for you. Like, I was just like, it made me appreciate Vegas so much in that moment. I was like, wow, you can just really have so much at your fingertips, and it's just so convenient. And like, it was one time I got a car wash at like midnight. You could just do it. Like, it's just, everything is just open. Like, it really is just another city that just doesn't sleep. Like, it's just always something going on. You can always, whatever you need. There's no reason for anybody to be hungry. There's no reason for anyone not to have anything that they need. The other day, I had to run to the store at 12 o'clock in the morning. It's just, I really think that's really what I enjoy the most is being able to just do whatever it is you want to do, when you want to do it, whenever you need it. And yeah, also, oh, the mountains. Y'all, if y'all ever come here, like, try to be somewhere where you facing the mountains. I know it sound like a lot, but if you book your hotel, if just call them and see if you can get a view facing the mountains. They're beautiful. I mean, like the sunset, the sunrise, it's just breathtaking, and I'm not kidding you. It looks like a picture. It's the most beautiful thing. I'll try to look through my phone to see if I have any. I'm sure I do some photos. It's like sometimes the sun is like sitting, like it's right behind the mountains, and it's just perfect. It's beautiful. And I mean, it's just, when you're driving, it makes you want to just stop your car and just stare at it, but of course you can't because you're on the freeway. But it's just like, it's absolutely just gorgeous, and it just looks like a photo. It looks like somebody just sat there and drew and then painted the pinks and the, you know, the blues and the oranges and the purples. It, like, the skies are just beautiful here. I mean, you just see so many different colors. It's crazy. But I used to sit out, like, whenever the sun was going down, sometimes where I would notice that the inside of my apartment would be kind of like a different color almost. Like, you can kind of see that the sky is some type of color outside. And so you'll go look, and then it's like blue and green or something. Absolutely beautiful. God has really done his thing when he came up with that. I mean, it's just beautiful. I absolutely love the mountains here, the 24-hour convenience. I'm trying to think of what else do I love about Vegas. They're always making something new, or like look better, just remodeling something, reconstruction. It's like, not construction on the road, that part's annoying, but they're always building something. They just always making sure that this city is thriving. Don't get me wrong, Vegas is not a big city. When you really think about it, Vegas is not a big city. If you ever been here before, if you ain't never been before, I'm letting you know, Vegas ain't no big city. It's a big city as far as like a lot of stuff going on and like a bunch of stuff, but the size really isn't that large. So it's like there's still so much land everywhere. So we're gonna constantly see them putting up new apartments, new buildings, new stores, new everything. Like, it's always so much going on. They're always adding to something. And even when I was at for my birthday, when I did the staycation at Park MGM on the Strip, I was facing Olive Garden in that little area. And so I saw construction on top of that building. So I'm thinking, you're thinking like, okay, maybe they're up there making, like, doing something. You just don't know. But then I saw a sign right underneath. It said that they're about to open up a rooftop, like, I guess they're gonna have like 2 floors to Olive Garden, and I don't know if it's gonna be the same as the bottom or if it's gonna be something totally different at the top, but it said it was coming fall of 2022, and I was like, because this was back in July, I was like, wow. I'm like, do we really need 2 floors of Olive Garden? Like, who really has 2 floors of Olive Garden? But at the same time, it's Vegas. Why wouldn't we have 2 floors of Olive Garden? Like, it just only makes sense. And I'm just like, that's crazy. I'm like, see, I want to try it out. I mean, Olive Garden is cool. Ain't my favorite place. I'll go, but I'm like, I want to go to the 2nd floor of Olive Garden now. It just makes you want to experience stuff. Like, it's just crazy. And then also, Vegas is also known for like their speakeasy type of places. So if you've never heard of that, it's like places that are hidden inside of places. It sounds so silly, but it's like, let's say you go to, and you'll never know it's behind a door. You would have to know it. You have to go there knowing that and say something to like one of the bartenders or one of the workers, like say a code or say some password, and then they'll walk you over to it, or they'll escort you over to wherever it is. And then behind that wall or door is probably like a bar. And it's just like, you would have never known it was there unless you knew. I'm telling you, like, I haven't been to one just yet, but I've seen so many different So now I need to go. Now I'm talking about it, I'm all excited. I've seen so many different TikToks of like this one lady. Her name is I think it's LA. No, not LA. LV Local Living or something like that. I believe that's her TikTok name. She does reviews on all different type of bars and restaurants and all types of stuff. And so I follow a few of them actually, and they show all type of different speakeasy because people are people are interested in that kind of stuff. Like if you can walk into, let's say, just something wild like a freaking like library, right? And you go to the librarian and you're just like code 264, and then they take you somewhere. They're like, okay, come on. They take you somewhere and there's a bar behind the door. It's just like, what? It's just like Vegas is so entertaining. They know how to keep people in. They know how to make sure people come back. Vegas knows how to entertain some people. I can honestly say that that's really what I truly love. Like nobody can really say like you came to Vegas and you didn't have a good time. If you didn't have a good time when you came to Vegas, it's because you either just refused to have a good time or you didn't look into anything else besides outside of the strip to have a good time. It's like you just came and felt like you was about to walk up and down the strip and then just have a blast of fun. Don't get me wrong, you can if you got the right people, but that's not all of Vegas. Like you really have to experience Vegas and just know and just do different things, because other than that, you just gonna come here and just be like, oh, okay, this it. Because like when I'm at work on the strip and I'm asking people like, where you here for in town? You know, we have a bunch of birthdays, a bunch of anniversaries, people here for work, people here for all types of stuff, you know, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. And it's just like, well, I'm like, well, what do you get into? I'm trying to see what it is that they know to do. And so many people were just like, oh, we're just sitting around. I remember I saw this one couple, I'm sorry, I told you I was gonna get off topic. I saw this one couple, they were just sitting outside of MGM, like just sitting there, y'all, like just sitting. And so I was just like, I wasn't even asking them for a picture. Cause I saw them, I'm just like, what y'all doing? And so they were just like, no, we're just sitting out here, we're just sitting. I'm like, y'all just sitting? I'm like, what y'all about to do? And they was just like, we don't know, we about to just like walk around. I said, oh no, you had the right person to walk up to you, because you're not about to just sit around and not do nothing. You in Vegas, and they had just got married. I was like, what? And you just sitting on the strip, and that's because people, I probably feel so overwhelmed with a lot just going on that they probably don't even think to know, or probably don't even know that it's so much other stuff going on. Like, and so I was like, y'all need to go down either to like Fremont. Granted, Fremont is what it is. That's downtown Vegas, you know, but I was just still saying y'all need to get off this strip, okay? Y'all need to go find a show to watch. I mean, it's so many Cirque du Soleils going on. You have the Love Cirque du Soleil with the Beatles, and then you have the Kai. I mean, at the time, Mad Apple wasn't here just yet, but it's like you got Mad Apple. It's like you just have so many different shows. You have all these magicians. You have so many card shows. Oh, even O by Cirque du Soleil. It's like you have so many different things that you can do and search, and so many different residencies. Celebrities, they have so many different residencies here. Usher always has one. He just went from, I believe, Caesar's Palace to Park MGM. So it's like, he's always here. Bruno Mars was here around that time. You just have so many. I think, who else was here? Was it Post Malone? I think it was Post Malone. You just have so many different celebrities coming in and out of here to where you can't say that you just sitting on the strip and not doing anything, because why? You not looking for nothing then. If you just came, you're not here to celebrate. You just came to Vegas to say you came to Vegas. You didn't come to celebrate whatever it is you came to celebrate for. And that's why I love seeing people, and there's so many different restaurants. Like, I love hearing people who are just like, oh, we're on our way to dinner at such and such. And I'm just like, go enjoy dinner. You know, it's just because like they have agendas, they have itineraries, like they have stuff going on. I'm like, yes, that's what you need to do. Not saying you need to fill up your every second with something to do, but why not? Yeah, you can walk the strip, but the strip is very long. I mean, you see one casino, you see them all. Like, you don't come to Vegas thinking that it's just like just the strip, and because it's not. Like, make sure you venture out, make sure you do some homework, make sure hey, reach out to me. Like, I don't even care. I'll tell you what's going on that weekend if I know anything. Just don't come to Vegas and just be like, oh, I'm here in Vegas and me and my girls are here in Vegas, or me and my man, or no, come here and do something, please. It's so much to do. It's like, it's almost just a waste of time if you come here and just don't do nothing. It's so much to do. That's one thing I love. It's like, it's not hard to find anything to do. That's why, like, for my birthday, it was like so last minute when we decided to go see Neo at Dre's. I had nothing planned for my birthday, y'all. I had nothing planned, and then my friend EJ was just like, no, we are doing something. And we was like, well, let's see who at Dre's. Neo was at Dre's a couple days later. I was like, well, we're going to see Neo. And then we went to see Neo. And it was like, I think it was the night of my birthday, actually. It was just like, just that fast. We went from having nothing to do to seeing Neo. I know that part was a little long, I'm sorry, but I really want y'all to just understand, don't come to Vegas just not doing anything, because that's one thing I love, is that you can just do anything you want almost at any moment if you really want to. If you don't, that's fine, but it's just so much to do if you really want to do something. I just saw another question, and because I screenshot the things from Instagram, so I just realized I pretty much just answered that question before, that it said, what do you like better between Vegas and Cleveland? So I did answer that question unintentionally, but I did. So I had the East Coast versus West, and I had the Cleveland and that. So boom, two different people, two birds, one stone. But another question is talking about cost of living. I got this one a couple times, which I expected it, so let's talk about it. So really, it's really not that much to it. It is, you get what you pay for kind of thing. You know, if you live in a suburb, you're gonna be paying suburb prices. You live in somewhere that's not so suburb, you paying not so suburb prices, and you around people who are not necessarily look like they are from suburbs. It's really not that big of a difference between Vegas and Cleveland when it comes to the prices, because granted, my apartment was, with the garage, was like $807, I believe. I had a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, very tiny apartment, very small. Okay, very small. It was one of the upgraded ones for what they considered upgraded, but very small, to the point where when I opened up my refrigerator, it hit the dishwasher. I couldn't even fully open it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how small it was. Not that much counter space. Love my apartment. I absolutely loved it. But it was just like, it was a small 1-bedroom apartment. How much did you really expect it to cost? And so, and it wasn't like a luxury apartment. It wasn't anything like that. So it's like, that kind of just made sense. But at the same time, I've also heard of certain parts of town being about that much too. Like rent 600, like this was some years ago, because I'm pretty sure that same apartment has now gone up in Cleveland. They're probably paying like, because I was paying like 7 something for my apartment, like $740. They probably paying like 9 about now. I've heard a couple years ago that certain areas here were about that same price, or about 600. Not a fancy apartment complex, you know, you don't have amenities, you don't have, or if you do, they have work, you know? So it's just like, you just have those areas that are a lot less cost of living. And then you have places where, and then you just don't know what's going on outside of your front door, by the way. And then you have and sorry I keep cutting myself off, but you gotta watch your back a little bit, because you're scared when you're walking inside your apartment, because I experienced that a couple times, all right? But then you have the other places where it's just like more secure, probably gated communities, good amenities, you know, bigger pools. Pools are always clean, you know, maybe add a jacuzzi up in there or something, a sauna. Some places have saunas. Some places really try to make sure that you don't feel like you're in an apartment. They want you to know that you're at home, and also get what you're paying for, and not just giving your money to somebody just to have your things in one place. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like they really try to make sure that they give to their residents and to their communities, is what they like to call it, their communities. I remember some years ago, this is probably like 4 years ago, I remember this one bedroom apartment. And then y'all, I hope y'all don't mind me talking about Cleveland a lot, because half y'all ain't never been to Cleveland. But for y'all that am, that knows me and knows Cleveland and stuff like that. So it's just like Beechwood. I don't know if it's still called The View, because it's like, it was called VUE, because they changed names a lot around them type of places. So The View, I remember they had a 1-bedroom, 1-bath for like $1,600. And this was some years ago. This was probably like 2008, 17 maybe, 18-ish. So this was some years ago. And it was already $1,600 for a 1-bed, 1-bath. Nice. It was real nice, you know, spacious, nice apartment, but it was still $1,600. So for 1 bedroom. So it's just like here at the moment, a 1-bedroom is about $1,400, depending on where it could be. Well, now it's probably about $1,400, because I believe when I moved here it was about $1,300. So it's probably around $1,400-1,500 now, which makes the 2 bedrooms about $1,700-1,800, and then so on and so forth. 3 bedrooms. I don't think they make 4-bedroom apartments. I don't really know. I haven't seen any, but that's pretty much how it is in like the suburbs. So it's just like, I don't think that's really any big difference between the two. You know, when I heard the prices, I wasn't like, oh my goodness, this is like outrageous. It was just like, well, where do you want to live? Like, because I even considered that too. I was like, okay, well, I'm so used to paying $740 a month. I'm like, I could easily go to somewhere and pay that, but I don't know this city. I don't have nobody here at the time. I'm like, I don't have anybody here. So I'm not about to put myself in that situation and be scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not about to do that, because I didn't even really feel safe where I was in Cleveland. So to move to a whole different city by myself and expect me to move somewhere where they had rent for $700, $800, I wasn't about to do that to myself. Anybody else could. If that's what you need to do it. I'm not saying don't do it. Even if you're just like, I can't do it, I have to, I can't go somewhere else, do it. Don't forget to say them prayers that night, all right? But just do it. But I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to. So I was just like, I'ma just have to move to where I know I'm gonna be comfortable and not walk outside and see homeless people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't want to see that moving into a new city. I just didn't. I'm sorry. Like, and nothing against them. You know, I don't want to make it seem like homeless people are like crazy people, but at the same time, I want to know that everybody around me has worked hard for their money and like is paying rent, not, you know, wondering if my car's gonna get broken into, or I'm gonna come out with a flat tire, or I'm gonna come out with, you know, just anything going on. Like, I don't want to hear neighbors arguing. I don't want to hear that. And I know you can't necessarily put that on where it is, but the chances of finding areas where that happens less is, I just prefer not to be in certain areas. That's pretty much that. So cost of living, like I said, I got that question a couple times. I'm not gonna cover it more than once. Cost of living is really all about the same. It's not like California prices. That's why I said before in the video, people are coming from Cali to move in here, especially the people who are trying to like buy houses and stuff like that, especially with the whole housing market and stuff. So it's just like they are coming here because it's so much cheaper. You can sell your house in Cali for a couple mil and then come here and get the same size house for $700,000-800,000. You know what I'm saying? So now you can pay off your house and still have profit. So it's just like, it's just kind of like, it's kind of normal here. Like, I don't think anything is like really like ridiculous. Of course, everybody hates to pay the same amount of money for the same, more money for the same apartment and they ain't did nothing to it. But when you really think about it, I don't mind paying an increase for my apartment because they have already done so much for us. Like, they really do take care of their residents. Like, I can't even lie. Like, I have no problem. Do I want to pay the increase? Absolutely not. But they take care of us. Like, the pool is always good. The pool's always clean. They have a guy that I see walking around with a broom and a dustpan, just cleaning up the property, just stuff like that. The trash, the dumpsters are never like full. So it's just, you just get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? They're always upgrading something. They're always making sure like what they do makes sense for us. You know, like you can tell they're not just doing it just because they trying to do something cheaper. Like, no, like they really trying to make sure we come first. And that's one thing I do appreciate. So like I said, cost of living, it's just, you get what you pay for. All right, so this one was totally different. Well, not different, but they added a little bit more into the question. So it was adjustments, cost of living, and mental anxieties for moving to a different location. So we already talked about cost of living. Adjustment, I kind of already talked about that as far as, I guess, adjustment and transition. We're gonna put that in the same category for this moment. And then mental anxieties for moving to a new location. I didn't really have any mental anxieties, to be honest with you, just because I feel like I probably would have had I not had my own apartment back home, because I was already used to living by myself, you know, taking care of everything, you know. Like I was after a certain time, it's not like I used to call my mom like, hey mom, can you call these people for me? Because, like, you know what I'm saying? So I was taking care of stuff on my own already, you know, calling, setting up your new cable, calling to set up your new electricity or new energy, calling just to set up everything, and just taking care of stuff on your own, and just, you know, furniture shopping, registering your car, you know, things like that. It's just like things that you have to do, you know, like that type of stuff. It really was kind of annoying as the registration for the car, because I was like, oh shoot, I need to register my car. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to the DMV. And then one of my coworkers, she actually told me about these people that go for you. So you go to their like little office space. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know if that was an office. You give them your information, your old registration, whoop-de-whoop. They're gonna tell you about how much it is. You pay that. They go to the DMV for you. They call or text you when your new tags are there or your new plates. At that time, I had to get new plates, of course, from Ohio to Nevada. Had to get my new plates, my new tags. It's been 2 years. I'm just now getting my ID. I'm just now getting my Nevada license. Don't talk about me. Like I said, that's the only thing that I was just like, I don't want to have to deal with this. Okay, I guess going back to like the cost of living situation, well, topic, where it's just like, well, now I'm paying so much more money for rent. I'm paying, well, now my car insurance is different, you know. Now everything has changed. Now gas prices cost more. This is before the gas even went up. Gas was still more. Now everything costs more. You know what I'm saying? So then I felt myself having to make sure I had multiple streams of income, because other than that, it's impossible. And I noticed here, I mean, I guess this is kind of on topic in a way. I hope y'all okay. But I noticed when I moved here, I noticed everybody lived with somebody. Like, it was almost, unless you, I don't know, it was, unless you owned your own business or something and you were single. But other than that, everybody either had husbands or spouses. People either live with roommates, or they live with their friends who are now roommates. They lived with siblings. They lived with their parents. Everybody lived with somebody, because I swear to God, when I got to that salon, I was like, how are these people, how are my coworkers living right now? Because I know what areas y'all live in. I know they're not bad areas. So I'm like, how are y'all making this right now? So just getting to know people, it was just like, oh, I live with my parents, I live with my, you know, sibling, I live with whoever. It's like, I'm like, that's how they doing it. I'm like, that's how so many people are able to like survive so well doing regular jobs, because they live with somebody. And I was just like, I don't want to have to do that. Like, granted, if somebody needed to move in or whatever, I'm just like, I want them to move in because they just need a place and I have a second bedroom. Not like who I'm stressed out. You know what I'm saying? And it had got to a point that had happened where somebody needed to move in with me, and I was like, okay, well, it's not gonna hurt to get some help with some rent. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like that it kind of went from there, and I was just like, okay, well, of course it's easier to breathe a little bit. That's why so many people are having roommates here. Like, that's why so many people are afraid to live by themselves, because when you really break everything down, unless you just making, I don't know, it's just an example, unless you're making 10K a month or something like that, then it's just like you're gonna have people having a lot, like purposely getting 2 jobs and stuff like that, not because they just love each job, but just simply just to pay their bills. You just have like multiple minimum wage jobs. That's how you're gonna be able to survive and keep your head above water, because minimum wage here in Vegas, paying everything by yourself, ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not going to happen. That's anywhere. Don't get me wrong. That's anywhere. But like I said, you just have to make sure that you just have everything together, making sure that I'm sorry, y'all. It's these things from my sweater that's coming off that y'all see floating around. So you just have to make sure that you just have everything that it is that you need in order to take care of yourself. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the only thing I can really say. Like I said, a lot of stuff kind of just is normal information for everywhere. It's not just Vegas that you should have multiple incomes to take care of yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But that's when it really opened my eyes to it a little bit more once I got here. I was like, wow, all these people living together with people, and then that's how they're able to afford all this stuff, because it's just on like regular incomes, Let me just make sure I'm not talking about anything that I'm not supposed to be talking about. Regular incomes, those people are most likely living with somebody. Okay, maybe I should have looked through. I hope I'm done talking about adjustments and cost of living. I'm tired of talking about it. But another question was basically how my life has moved up and progressed since I have moved here. And started off really, really slow. Started off so slow. Like I said, didn't really know too many people. I did at one point, because I was just like, I want to get into this hair business and stuff like that. I did take my business cards around to a lot of different hair stores and beauty supply stores and drop my business cards off there. I did, out of all those business cards, I had one person reach out, which is fine, but it's just like, I still have to try. Like, I still have to do stuff. It's just like, I just can't sit around and just do nothing. If I do that for a while, something is wrong. So it's just like, I'm like, I need to get out. I need to make sure that my name is out here. I'm a new local hairstylist. Granted, the one I went to, there was no business cards. I'm like, this about to be smooth. This at a hair store with our people. This about to be perfect. Man, the next time I went to that store, it was a bunch of them. Like, mine had got thrown all the way to the back. I was just looking like, you know what, that's fine. I don't even care, because basically it seems like somebody saw it. It's like, oh, we can drop business cards off here. Then it just was a ball that just continued to roll, and then now everybody did it. And like I said, then when I went back and I was looking, I'm like, well, at least is mine in the front? Not even in the front, y'all. It was just all the way in the back. I'm like, okay, whatever. So like I said, just really trying to find ways and get out of my comfort zone, and just making sure that I'm doing things that I didn't do before. I had never done that before, so it was kind of nerve-wracking in a way, because it's like, you walk into a business, you have to, introduce yourself very professionally, and they were all cool, because it ain't like I talked to the owners. They was just the cashiers. They was just like, yeah, girl, put your business card right there. Like, I don't care. So it's just like really just trying to make those type of connections with people. And this is what I really enjoyed the most, was getting around people who just knew more than me, and like lived life differently than me, and like lived how I wanted to live. Finally seeing somebody doing that, like, and I'm friends with them, it's really inspiring, because you hear about it all the time, and we are a product of our environment. 9 times out of 10, you and your friends kind of live about the same type of lifestyle. You'll probably make about the same amount of money, you know, probably not too much far off from each other. So it's just like getting around people who made like triple than me or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just, and they was just like regular people, like you would have never known unless you just knew them personally. And so it was just, like I said, it was just really inspiring because they were able to open my eyes to so many different things, a way of basically unlearning what I have known for my whole life. You know, you learn about finances a certain way, or maybe you don't learn about finances. Maybe you think you know about finances, because that was my situation. And honestly, that's still something I am working on. I can honestly admit that. As far as, you know how some people are just like credit gurus, and some people are like stocks gurus, and you know, some people, like, everybody just has they like little things. Like, I want to like kind of just know everything under that whole umbrella, you know what I'm saying, how to make money work for you kind of situation. So once you start knowing people who think like that and knowing how to budget their finances totally different than the way you thought you did, you know, you thought it makes sense how you did it, but once you start meeting people who are like, no, how about you do it this way? How about you do it that way and see how that goes for you? Just like, you know what? You kind of right there. You kind of right. Yes, I'm going to start doing it that way. And then, like, just little by little, you start seeing changes. And, you know, you see that you're able to save more money because you realize half the things that you have were bought and whatever you really didn't need. So it's just like, that's, to me, that was a really good way of progressing once I got to Vegas, meeting, you know, people who are able to show me the right direction and show me the way of living, and, you know, making, just pretty much helping me make my own life easier, you know, living smarter, not harder type of thing. You know, everything doesn't need to be difficult. You know, you shouldn't have to think about a bill and be stressed about it. You shouldn't have to, you know, look at gas prices and complain about it, you know, stuff like that. It's just like, but we've all been there before, like, oh, this gas prices, I don't want to pay it, you know. But it's just like, there's so many people who go through their day-to-day life that don't even think about that. Those are the people that I like being around, because you stop complaining about it. You just sort of adapt and, I guess, adjust to how they are. Not that you want to be them, but you're learning so much from these people, that it's just like, well, these new, I'm gonna call them people like that. You're learning so much from these new friends that just know so much more about you, that it's just like, you're gonna just naturally kind of just be the same way. And like I said, that's just such a blessing, because that's another reason why I was like, this is why I moved here. This is why I moved to Vegas, because I would have never just had this type of friendship just kind of like fall in my lap. I desired it, but at the time I wasn't looking for it because I didn't know how to look for it. But that's the beauty of it. It was just like, it just kind of was just like, here, you have some new friends. Take advantage, you know? And so, like I say, once you start shifting your mindset on like how you just looked at everything, and you just, once you accept that you don't know what you think you know, and you are okay with learning different ways of doing things, that's when things can get a lot easier for you, because you're just simply unlearning what you have learned, you know. And like, we learn things from our parents, from our grandparents, aunts, uncles, older cousins, and stuff like that, and they've only known it to be a certain way because that's what they saw, generation to generation to generation. That's what, one thing I love about this generation as well, is like, we have gotten to the point where we're like, no more. Like, I've seen it fail and fail and fail. Why would I continue to do that just because I saw somebody else do it, just because I saw mom and dad do it, because I saw big brother do it? Like, I'm not doing it that way, because it didn't work for you 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna work for me. So that's why I was just like, this is something that I know I need to change. I have no problem being the person that says, I don't like the way I do this. How can you help me fix this? Like, can you help me switch? Can you help me switch this up, especially with something as serious as that? Like I said, just like a life change. I had no problems asking questions. Let me tell you that. I had no problems asking questions. So once I got to that point, once I got to that, positive thinking mindset and looking at everything, instead of it being like, oh, I don't have the money for this, I don't have the money for that, or it's like, well, how can I get the money for it? Figuring out a way of how to get it versus crying that you don't have it. You know what I'm saying? It's really just kind of shifting stuff. And then once you realize, like, all right, you put your thinking cap on and you can really figure out some stuff. So like I said, that's one thing that I've noticed that, well, not noticed, but that's one thing I'm grateful for that I have progressed in that aspect of my life, because that's really where it starts. You need those are like the fundamentals to basically everything else that you have going on. Yes, some things are going to change from here and there. You gotta switch certain things up with certain things, but at the same time, everything kind of goes back to making sure you're completely educated on how you are handling business. I think that was a really good question. Thank you for that question. And yeah, I was happy about answering that one. All right, next question. I don't even know how many I have answered so far. I don't even know how many I had total. But another question was, how easy is it getting an apartment on a good side of town? Very easy. Just simply because I don't know if you live here or if you plan to move here or if you're just speaking generally in your city. What you need to do is get on like apartments.com. It's hard to do that, and I'm gonna say it's hard to do that because you're like, this apartment is beautiful, but you don't know how it look outside. One thing I have to say is, if you can, go see that side of town that you want to live on. This is just me assuming that you're not moving to another city, because the question was just finding a good apartment on an apartment on this side of town. It wasn't in a new city, so I can't assume that this person is moving to a new city. Go to that side of town. For example, if I know I want to move on the other side of town that I don't really hang out on, I've heard it's nice, but it's just like, I would prefer to just go over there. I'll probably check that Target out, check that Walmart out. Just go, get a different scenery, see how people are, see how everything is. Pay attention to everything. When it comes to moving, pay attention to everything. I mean, pay attention to when you are contacting the apartment, how long it takes them to respond to your email. See how long it takes them to just get back to you with an answer. Let's say you have a question and they don't have the answer right away. See how long it takes them to get back. Ask about maintenance. And again, this is assuming that you live in the same city. Check out go just ride through the apartment complex. No appointment to ever go in just yet. Just ride around on a Saturday afternoon, see how everybody doing. Don't go on no Tuesday at 2 p.m. No. Everybody's mostly are at work or working from home, so they're not really outside. Go see how it is. Ride around that complex as far as like the surrounding streets. See if you feel comfortable. See if anything stands out to you that makes you feel uncomfortable. Yeah, even if it's just one thing, if it makes you uncomfortable, keep that in mind. Don't just overlook that. See how close things are to that you would like to do or that you use. Like your bank. Is your bank close to that apartment complex? Is your church, how close is it to your church? How close is it to, if you have one? How close is it to Walmart, Target, grocery store, whatever, however you grocery shop? How close is it to every single thing that you need pretty much often, weekly? See how close it is, see if it's not that far of a commute from your job. If you work from home, perfect. If not, how close is it to your job? You really want to make sure that you just making it easier on yourself, not harder. And once I decided I was going to stay in this area for the most part, I didn't mind putting my dentist in this area. I didn't mind having my doctor in this area. I didn't mind anything else. And so yeah, so once you do that, once you be like, okay, I feel comfortable, everything's cool, everything's nice, Then it's just like now you go in, you talk to them, you put in an application, and then you go on with the process, making sure that before you move in, if you can, try to see your apartment before you move in. Try your best. Like, I know some places are doing more renovations. They try and keep up with the market and stuff like that. Just making sure you can really see your apartments beforehand, after they're done with everything, before you move in, because you really want to make sure that you 100% approve it before you get them keys. Because once you get those keys and you sign that lease, if anything's wrong, I'm sorry. But it's like, but if you can take care of that stuff beforehand, then you'll be kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that's answering your question, because the question just said how to find an apartment, or not getting approved, or just getting an apartment in a nice area. So that's pretty much it. That's any area. Like I said, you really just want to make sure that you are checking everything. Don't just be like, oh, okay, my friend lives here. No, You really want to make sure it works out for you. If you have children, if you have a spouse, make sure everything works out to the T as much as possible. If you don't have to compromise on anything, that's absolutely beautiful. Because I don't know what a good area is for you, so I can't really say. So those are just some tips that I would suggest, just to make sure you don't sign a year into something that you will regret. So I hope that helped. All right. Somebody finally said something fun. No, I'm just playing. Somebody was asking about the nightlife. Nightlife here, obviously, is one thing Vegas is known for. And Vegas is known for their gambling. Vegas is known for their nightlife. Because all of the casinos / hotel, well, all of the hotels, let me put it this way. All of the hotels, they have casinos on the first floor. It's always a casino on the first floor. So as soon as you walk in, you're gonna most likely, unless you walk through a certain door, you're gonna walk through a casino to get to the registration desk, to get yourself signed into your hotel. Then you're gonna go somewhere else and go to your elevator, then go up to your room. It's always some type of casino. That's the gambling part. I know is more about nightlife. All of the hotels also, they most likely will have a nightclub. It could be a bigger one, smaller lounges. It really just depends. Like, for example, we just recently went on a party bus. So it takes you around to all the different places. We kind of started around 8:30, so it really wasn't that much going on at the time. The first two places, it really wasn't that many people. It was just us that was on the bus. And then eventually we got to the next place. It was a little bit more people, and then so on and so forth. You can definitely do that. An idea that was about $30. It was from 8:30 to 2:30 a.m. We did not stay the whole time. We were ready to go home because we were hungry. And you really want to stay with your group, because like I said, each group has its own bus. So you really don't want to miss anything, because you're gonna miss your bus, and you do not want to do that, because you will be responsible to get to the next destination. So you can do that as well. That's really fun, because you don't have to really worry about transportation. I do recommend that you get dropped off, whether you have someone drop you off, or Uber or Lyft is highly recommended that you do that instead of driving yourself, because in that situation we got picked up and dropped off at 2 different places. So just keep that in mind if that's something you want to do. That's not just a locals thing. We just decided to do that because we were going to get a big party bus with the whole party. But of course, after a while, so many people decided to drop out. So it was only a small group of us. So it only made sense for us to pay $30 and be taken care of in a way, versus paying hundreds of dollars each person just for this party bus. So that's an idea, of course, too. That was really, really fun. As I said before, you can always do Fremont, and that is downtown Vegas. Some people forget the name Fremont, so I always just say downtown Vegas, and then that's when they'll remember. And so you can do that as well. I always call it a smaller strip. People like to say that that's where most locals go. I don't know how true that is, but I like it because it's just smaller area, less people. It's still a lot of people. So if you really want to be somewhere with still less people than that, you can always just look at a local bar. You can always look at just somewhere kind of off the strip in a way. Someone else asked that question, so I do want to tie that into this one, I guess, because they were asking about places that are low key because not everyone comes to Vegas and wants to stay on the strip and still have a good time. Granted, a lot of places are still further out, more in the suburbs, but at the same time, you can still be in that general area that you're not too far. For example, there's a place called Town Square, which is still on Las Vegas Boulevard, which is the strip. You really wouldn't expect to see a bunch of people there. It really gives you that small kind of shopping center kind of feel, like everyone probably has it in their cities. It's really not that type of place where it's just overwhelmed with people. You know, they have like Sephora, Bath and Body Works. They have some restaurants. They still have some clothing stores. They have those type of places. You get the vibe of what I'm trying to say. So it's like you can do something like that and still have a good time. They do have, like I said, they have some bars, but it's still not quite. It's not the strip. Like, it's on the same street as the strip, but it's not the strip at all. Two totally different vibes. So you can do something like that. Or like I say, if you're not afraid to, if you have a rental car, let me just say that. If you have a rental car, you're able to get yourself around. You're not relying on somebody else to take you around like an Uber or Lyft. You can go wherever it is you want to go, because again, Vegas is not that big. So think of Vegas, and then all these other places that are around it are only about 20 minutes away. If it's a lot of traffic, 25, give or take. But the strip is not far from anybody, okay? So no matter what area you live in, unless you're super far out there, I'm not talking about those people, unless you are super close, you will be about 15 minutes from the strip on a good day. 20 minutes on a good day, because I don't want to lie to anybody. 20 minutes on a good day, you can really get to where you need to be on the strip or off the strip and get back to your hotel within, you know, a short amount of time. Like I said, do not be afraid to just look at other areas and stuff, because I just love going to just places where it's just like so chill. Like, there's a place here called PT's, which is a Parkway Tavern, and they're everywhere, literally everywhere. And it's always a low-key vibe there. It's always a chill vibe, and it's just, you will find more locals there. I feel like a lot of people come from smaller cities, want to be in the big city, but still live a small city vibe, like have a small city vibe. Definitely you can do something like that. Check out like a PT's. That's what I would highly recommend. Okay, so I have another good one, and it was asking, have I ever thought about moving back to Ohio, or if I would ever move from Nevada? Really good question. Really, really good question. First one, heck no. I would never move back to Ohio. I hate the cold. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I just don't like it. I understand all my family is there. Love them dearly. Y'all gonna have to come see me. I can't move back to Ohio. I just can't do it. Then, will I ever move from Nevada? Yes, I would. Nothing is keeping me here at the moment. I'm not necessarily like attached to Vegas or just Nevada. I wouldn't mind going anywhere else. Like, I moved here, you know, I'm having a great time. I'm experiencing so much. Like, it's awesome. I made a really good move, to be honest. I made a really good choice in the state that I decided to move in, move to. At the same time, I still can't necessarily say that I will always be here, because I just don't know where like my career is gonna take me, if I get married, where that could possibly take us, you know. So I don't want to say yes for sure I'm staying in Nevada. Do I plan on going anywhere anytime soon? Absolutely not, because I don't really have a reason to. Because as far as like career wise, for the moment, I can just travel, you know. I don't necessarily have to move anywhere. Vegas is cool. Vegas is nice. I like it. For all the obvious reasons that I said before, I would be open to having a conversation about moving somewhere else if I needed to. Yeah, but really good question though. I really do like that one, because everybody I knew what kind of questions I was gonna get. I knew it was gonna be Cleveland versus Vegas. I knew it was gonna be this versus that, this versus that. That's why I liked someone asking about the nightlife, because it's like, all right, we're talking about Vegas here, not just Cleveland. Like, I know y'all know I'm from Cleveland, because all the people from Cleveland is asking about Cleveland. I know y'all know, but I wanted to still speak about stuff that was Vegas focused. You know what I'm saying? So, but still good questions. I appreciate y'all for all of the questions, but let's move on. So I have another one that is asking about social life, which I like as well. And it's asking, how easy or hard is it to make new friends? Honestly, I really feel like it's easy to make new friends here, just because, like I said, there's just so many different people here, and it just seems like you meet so many different people that are into just like some interesting stuff. So it's really easy to make friends. I didn't really find it hard to make friends, to be honest with you. Like I said, off the bat, it wasn't like it was anything that was just like, oh my goodness, I can't find any friends. Like, I met friends right away. Like I said, clients of mine became friends. I met people through them, and then people through them, and it just kind of went on from there. But that's kind of like a normal way to meet friends anyway, not just here. So I don't want you guys to think that just because it's a different city or it's like slightly bigger that it's harder, because it's really not hard to like meet friends. Like I said, dating and finding men totally different from meeting friends. Totally different. Again, you could do the Bumble BFF. That's always a thing. But again, that's not just the Vegas thing. Again, it's kind of hard to, I will say the hard part about finding friends here was meeting people while you were out, kind of, and then finding out that they don't live here. Because then you're like, shoot, like, dang it, like, you a cool person. You don't even live here. You live across the way. But like, it kind of is what it is. Like I said, if you're out on the strip, just go there and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Just go there and have a good time and go back home, because trying to meet people, you're gonna meet somebody that's live across the country from you. And if that ain't what you're trying to do, then don't even do it, okay? Because I had my days of that, meeting people from across the country, and it was just like, well, what am I gonna do with that? I don't want no long distance. Like, no, like, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I mean, that's if you choose to do that, that's fine. But there's just a good chance that you're gonna meet somebody that's not from Vegas at all. So to me, that's meeting people. That's not meeting friends. So meeting like genuinely like good friends, like I said, is really the people that I was around all the time. It was just like they became like, we just like got close, and then it kind of like just went from there. But it wasn't like, I don't really have a big group of friends. Let me just throw that out there. I don't have a big group of friends. I never have. I've never been interested in that. And I'm still the same way. So I still have my very small group. Maybe getting out and being around the places that you normally like to do, like as far as activities. You know, if you like to hike, it's a whole bunch of mountains here. Go pick one. You're gonna find some hiking friends for sure. Okay, you're gonna find some hiking friends. Like I said, that's just everywhere. That's just a way to meet friends. That's just a way to meet people. But you can always do that. It's just an easy way to meet people, because I don't have people here that I went to high school with, so I can't like rely on that way of having a friend. So the only way that I can have friends is either, you know, if I decide to be super social one day and just randomly talk to a stranger, and that ain't really me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or you could do something, if that's how you're gonna meet friends, then you'll meet a bunch of people. But that's just not me. So a way that I met someone who was like, kind of like more closed off, willing to talk to anybody. Don't get me wrong. I would talk to a fish if it was able to talk, okay? Like, I'll talk to anybody, but am I about to be like, oh, this looks like a nice fish, let me go talk to this fish? Like, no, that's not really like my personality. Having to be around people, and being forced to talk to people is how I met the friends that I have. That's pretty much it. I don't really know if this question was supposed to be just how I did it, or, you know, they're just assuming it's different just because it's a different city. But I promise you, it's all the same stuff. I didn't come here and was just like, oh, I'm not gonna make any friends. Like, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen because it has to happen. I'm a freaking hairstylist. It's like, it's going to happen. So I wasn't really concerned about making friends. Also, just not making a bunch of friends just because I'm not interested in that anyway. So it's like, I knew I was gonna find a small group of people, handful of people, not even group, handful of people, and that's pretty much it. Like I can count pretty much my friends on like one hand. It sounds so sad, but it's just like that's how I was pretty much growing up and my whole life, and it's just like I prefer it that way. So as an adult, nothing has changed in how I wanted to meet people and, you know, how to get close with people and how I met people, friends. Yeah, let's keep it moving. So the last one, you know who you are to ask this. Because I saved this one for last. And so it said, because I was asking for questions and topics, by the way. So it said dating. I know what this person is getting at, because the question isn't, are you dating? It just said dating. But I know this person wants me to elaborate on the, I guess, more looking at it more of a question than a topic. Because I just know this person a little too well. And so I would have to say that for the first year in a very long time, actually it's gonna be my only year, I'm gonna actually be having some matching pajamas. I'm just say that, okay? I don't wanna give too much. You know what I'm saying? I don't wanna give too much. I'm gonna just give y'all a little taste of, you know, what's been going on. And so yeah, so that is pretty much that. I am dating someone at the moment and everything is going well. I'm like, you know what? This might be the year I have some matching pajamas. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'm like, this is what people be looking forward to. And for so long, I was just like, whatever. It'll happen next year. It'll happen next year. We all say that. It'll happen next year. I'll lose weight next year. I'll have matching pajamas next year. Everything is next year, you know? And it finally feels good to be able to say that and like want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that I'm gonna enjoy my time and all of that good stuff. So those are the deets. I'm so childish. But yeah, so like I said, I'm assuming that was more of a question than anything. So because it wasn't, that person didn't necessarily ask for specifics or anything like that, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Okay? I'm gonna leave it at that. And yeah, but I would have to say, you guys did ask a lot of good questions. Some, like I said, I already expected. And so when I came up with the idea of making this video, I was like, oh shoot, my 2 years coming up, I need to make that video. And I never even really thought of topics that I wanted to discuss or nothing like that, because I pretty much was gonna kind of cover this type of stuff anyway. But I'm glad you guys still decided to ask about like the nightlife and dating and mental anxieties. That was something that was different. What was another one? Or just like East Coast versus West Coast. But like I said, I expected that from those people who are from the East Coast that knows me and expect it to be differently. So like I said, I still appreciate all those different type of questions. So I hope this answers some questions for you guys. As I also stated, if anyone asked a question or gave me basically responded to what I put on Instagram, if you responded to it and I answered anything on here for you, then you know that I'm gonna be sending you this video link a day before everyone else gets to see it. And I do that type of stuff, you guys, too, because I just feel like if you are supporting me and if you can at least answer a question that I'm giving you on Instagram or any social media, then it's only right for me to be able to give that to you guys and not just give it to you with the regular public, because you're not like the regular public. You actually took your time to answer the question. You get what I'm saying. Click the box and type some words. Like I said, so I do appreciate you guys for that. So this is me talking to you. If I answer any of these or you gave me a topic, this is me talking to you specifically. Like I said, I really do appreciate you guys always. And of course, there's always my main people. I expected some of these people to be the ones to answer, but you guys have always been there for me. Y'all have always supported, always commented, always liked, subscribed, all that type of stuff. So that does not go unnoticed, and I just want to make sure that y'all know that it never will. Okay, from the bottom of my heart, it never ever will. So just make sure you know that. But for everyone else, now I can talk to everybody. Thank y'all so much for getting through this video. I hope y'all had a chance to get to know, I don't know necessarily get to know me a little bit more, or just get to know what's going on within this past year, the difference between last year and this year. I was trying to say honestly and highly. I was about to say honestly. I honestly recommend that you guys go check out that last video, and I want to watch it too, just to kind of see like how different it was back from then to now. I also did a 6-month one, and so just checking that out too. Now 6 months when I had some cornrows and stuff, so it was just like totally different look, just different everything, you know what I'm saying? Like I could just tell like the maturity and just like the one question, the progression that I have made over this past 2 years. I cannot believe it has been a full 2 already, but that's the beauty of, you know, enjoying yourself. It just kind of flies by. So like I said, thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys so much for getting through this video. If there's anything that you thought of as I was speaking and you want to ask it down below, feel free. I still have no problem with answering or speaking about any type of topics. So if you want to put anything down below, just make sure you do that, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And again, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. As my mother used to always say, it does not matter what you do in life, always be the best at it. And I will catch you guys on Monday.